Welcome back to Real Phonies, where we take a love for movies and television and combine it with very little knowledge about movies and television. I'm your host, Christian. Joined with me are my co-hosts, Jay Hugh.
What's up?
Joseph.
Yellow.
We are down an Ian today.
Someone else will have to mispronounce and misspell things on the podcast in his absence.
He doesn't typically misspell things on the podcast, but he does on our Facebook page.
He does, yep.
Joseph, I believe you are covering for him with the news today.
I'll do my gosh darn best.
I'm sure you're going to do splendid, buddy.
We'll start with some news about Netflix's Cowboy Bebop adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
It's live action, supposed to be coming out, I don't know, next year or is it this year?
Probably.
Yeah.
It seems to be fast-tracked.
It does seem to be fast-tracked, but it's not like, I don't think they invest a lot of time into any of these movies.
Hopefully they're just like reusing the old scripts.
Yeah. But they cast several people, including John Cho from Star Trek and Harold and Kumar.
Yep.
And the several Harold and Kumar sequels as Spike, which is, I don't know, I've seen a couple concept arts that look pretty good.
I think he looks the part.
Yeah.
I was only kind of amiss by it because I just desperately wanted Keanu for so long, but I can willingly admit Keanu is too old to play Spike now.
Also, I like Keanu, but even he doesn't really capture the charisma. I don't know if John Cho can, but I'm pretty sure that Keanu can't quite get there.
That's maybe fair.
Maybe they'll get Keanu to play Sword Guy.
Yeah.
All I know these guys as is Sword Guy and Gun Guy.
That'd be fucking cool.
He definitely looks the part.
Yeah.
I mean, I also kind of wonder if maybe he's also getting to the point of a little too old, but all the casting was pretty good for the parts. Again, this show seems pretty fast-tracked. I think they just announced it in November, and we're already getting main casting, so they got to start filming soon, so probably sometime next year.
It's a movie, right?
I think it's a show.
Oh, it's a show. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was a movie, too, so that's more interesting, actually, as a show.
That's my understanding. I thought they were going to do it. I thought it was going to be 10 one-hour episodes, and which would line up with about the time frame of the original series. So,
are the seatbelts still a thing? Can we bring them back?
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to include and not include. As long as look, the show is about jazz, so you better get some damn good music.
Absolutely. So after that, we got the Akira movie.
We're anime heavy today.
Anime heavy today, kind of accidental.
That's probably why Ian didn't show up.
Yeah.
I have an ambivalence towards anime. Ian is hostile.
He is very. Yeah. The Akira, with the famous 1980s, I don't know, anime classic, is being adapted to a live-action version by Taika Waititi, and is now also included Leonardo DiCaprio
As a producer.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
What was the news on this?
Well, it seems like very official that it's going to happen because they have booked space in California to film it so that they could apply for like a tax credit, which makes it kind of seem more real than it ever has been in the past.
Well, and also I think the news was that Taika Waititi said that it's going to be based on the whole manga.
The manga in its entirety.
Because the old one is really just the first half of the manga. And, which is fine because it kind of ends twice. But, I think that's pretty good news.
Yeah. It's going to be set in New Manhattan. I think they're going to be brothers in the film, which I don't think that, maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but I don't think that's true.
I don't think so, no.
But, I mean, I'm not a Akira super fan. I do enjoy it. It's a little disturbing and uncomfortable.
Oh, it's real disturbing.
And I can only imagine the manga is probably more so.
Well, the manga's a little less because it's in black and white.
Oh, that's fair.
It's funny because I guess it's one of those animes that is not for anime people because I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they're casting Asians because I was worried for years when we did this we're going to have one character yelling Steve for like the whole show instead of Tetsuo.
Yeah.
So
his name better be Tetsuo.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be Garrett Hudland at one point, and that's just all kinds of wrong.
Right.
Look, I'd watch that movie just so we could review it. But
yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. I actually think Taika Waititi is a good choice to direct it because it seems kind of out of his wheelhouse. I will say the news kind of seems like, based on the language, it almost feels like this may be his next movie that he's doing.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Next up, we got the Suicide Squad movie that's going to be directed by James Gunn after he got fired and before he got rehired by Marvel for Guardians of the Galaxy. It had been rumored, if not outright announced, that Idris Elba would be taking over as Deadshot from Will Smith. That has since changed, and now he will be playing some other character. Do we have any predictions?
I pitched Bronze Tiger.
I fucking love it.
I think Bronze Tiger would be great, particularly if he actually wears that outfit.
Yeah, that would
which seems like a very James Gunn move.
100%. I think he could just kill that part, Idris Elba. I feel like it's a role he'd be born to play. The other news there is Viola Davis coming back as Amanda Waller.
That's right, which is what we were kind of hoping for.
Yeah. Again, this thing has just gotten, like, everything we've heard so far about this movie is like, okay, yeah, like, I'm on board.
And it really gets what I think that has that somebody at DC and Warner needed to get is that the casting is not the problem. The problem is the movies you made with that cast.
Also, Jai Courtney coming back.
Yeah.
Actually.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see that.
Which is great because he's awesome in that movie.
Yes, he is.
The only time one can say that.
Absolutely, that is absolutely true. Right. Oh, you know what? So we were talking when we did Triple Frontier about B-list stars. Jai Courtney is another one that could be easily mistaken for Garrett Hedlund or the other motherfucker.
For sure,
so let's put him in the sequel as another brother. I love it. I'm excited about the Suicide Squad movie, which is a weird thing to say, but it's there's a lot of positive stuff moving in the right direction.
That's kind of like the hard thing about Suicide Squad is there are some actually really great stuff, specifically in the casting department with it. And even in the structure of the movie, which is not good, they play those parts really well.
Yeah, right.
So I'm glad that James Gunn, even if it is a total reboot, recognized those strengths and decided he'd incorporate in his new film.
Did I also hear Joel Kinnaman's coming back?
I have not heard that.
I sure hope not.
Well, the thing is, I mean, he's never done okay in anything. But again, I think if he was allowed to play Rick Flag, he could do a good job. He just didn't in that.
He's got that new show. He's got Hannah on Amazon. Like, I don't know what his schedule is like.
Amazon really wants me to watch that show.
Yeah, the advertising is everywhere. I
just don't want Joel Kinnaman to be a thing.
Right.
I mean, that's totally reasonable based on his history.
It is. Next up, we got casting news for the Eternals movie. Who's that being directed by? I'm mixing that one up with the New Gods one. Do we know?
I know there is a director, but I don't know.
Okay, yeah. It's new casting news is Kumail Nanjiani is being cast as we don't know yet.
Unlike Angelina Jolie, I saw no speculation as to who he could be playing.
I feel like in those, and again, I've very low impact with those comics as far as I've interacted with them.
Sure.
But I feel like there was a character called Fastback that was, Fastback's a different Kirby character. He was called Mercury. Mercury, but it was just spelled all weird. And I think he was kind of like the comic relief, so maybe he could be that guy. Or maybe he's not going to be comic relief. Maybe he's going to be the main character. Who knows?
I definitely think Angelina Jolie is going to be the main character
Absolutely.
in this movie.
Yeah. She's the star power.
Kumail, I definitely think you automatically run to comic relief, but I also kind of hope he plays a more serious role. I do think he's capable of that. I was really high on him. What was that Amazon movie he had about him and his wife?
The Big Sick.
The Big Sick. Real big. I was big on him.
You're big on the Big Sick.
Big on the Big Sick. I am kind of riding low on him after watching the Twilight Zone episode with him.
Okay.
But we'll see.
I don't know. I'm just imagining when you say Mercury. I have no idea if it. I know it's supposed to.
Right, he's like their speedster.
They're named after like the Greek gods, but it just makes me think of from Disney's Hercules, the guy who was David Letterman's bandmaster, Paul
Schaefer.
Paul Schaefer. Yeah, it makes me think of Paul Schaefer's Hermes in that movie. And I'm like, I can see Kumail in like a similar kind of role.
Underrated Paul Schaefer role.
Absolutely.
Hercules is an underrated movie.
I would agree.
So that brings us to we got it's old news at this point, but we got a new Avengers trailer last week.
And it also kind of, we got that new clip today.
We got a new clip
that was
today.
Sort of the same stuff, but more like just a straight scene.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
There's literally nothing else they can do to make me more excited.
They don't need to market it anymore. We're done. We're already as hyped as we can possibly be for it.
I've been thinking about so much about how much money Disney is going to make this year. And just from like Marvel alone. Because I don't know if they make any profits off Spider-Man solo movies.
I don't know.
But if you think about how the rumor is Infinity War and Endgame cost $500 million to make the two of them.
Right.
And then they spend another $500 million to advertise both of them. They're still going to turn at least $3 billion profit off those movies.
Yep.
And gosh, it's unbelievable the money they're making. But also like they're consistently putting out a really good product.
Right.
Even though they know we're going to show up.
But I think that's one of the reasons that, they are consistently making all this money. Because, I mean, you look at recently, comparatively, Star Wars, which has kind of been considered, like, it's free money. Everybody loves Star Wars, but you hit them 2 in a row that weren't hits, and now,
I mean, Last Jedi still topped $1 billion.
It did, but Solo immediately flopped, and again, we've heard a lot of stuff outside anecdotally that people are not that interested in the 9th one that's coming out later this year. So, I mean, even the big names can fall if you're not delivering the right product.
I tell you what was my biggest impression from this trailer. There's one little snippet, just like a second, where Nebula sits down next to Rocket and they look sad together, and it's emotional and stuff, and that's a little emotional moment between a talking raccoon and a blue, bald alien robot chick. What I'm saying is I fucking love these movies. like we've gotten to the point where that's a thing in these movies.
Yeah. I will say, when we reviewed Captain Marvel, one thing we talked about is we thought how the Russo brothers would be able to really use her well. And they're really good at taking these other characters and really maximizing them. And even, she doesn't even have a line, but the presence that she stands there and just staring at Thor and the hammer comes to him, I mean, it's a great moment. It's a great use of her.
Right.
And in the clip today, her delivery of those lines, show that she is, still powerful. Kind of like you talked about, very confident in that because she's been doing this for 20 years. It just, even in those 20 seconds, it feels like they really are going to get her right. And do a really good job with her. I don't know. I'm really freaking excited.
We're super excited.
Yeah.
I feel like we're doing a bad job promoting this movie because we can't even talk about it because we're just we just, we're ready.
It's just like a given that this is the thing where, almost this thing we're doing exists because we're excited about this.
For sure.
Not untrue. David Harbour and Rachel Weisz have been cast in the Black Widow movie. Any speculation? David Harbour, famously of Stranger Things and the new Hellboy movie, and Rachel Weisz of being the worst part of Constantine, and probably some other things.
Ooh, is she the worst part of Constantine?
Yes.
You know what? I hated Constantine when it came out, but I watched it recently and I like it. I was wrong about that. I was focusing too much on the fact that Constantine wasn't British and not
Sting.
Or Sting. And at the time, I really thought that Johnny Lee Miller should have been it. But just judging it on itself, it's a good movie. It's an entertaining movie. Special effects haven't aged well.
No.
I don't think. Look, I watch this movie once a year. I'm a big defender of this movie.
Really?
I am. But Keanu's great. Shia LaBeouf's pretty good in it. Jimon Hansu is good in it. Peter Stormare as Satan is the best fucking Satan.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of this movie.
Yeah.
I think if you haven't seen it since whatever year it came out, 2004, you should give it another shot.
The back to the Black
Widow movie with Rachel Weisz, the worst part of Constantine.
Look, I like both those actors. I like them more than I like Scarlett Johansson, so it makes me more excited to see the Black Widow movie.
I don't know a lot about Black Widow's solo supporting cast.
For sure.
Almost every comic I've ever followed her in is when she's in another comic, like Captain America or Daredevil or something. But I would say it's almost a given that Rachel Weisz is going to be someone from the program that trained her.
100%.
David Harbour, I don't know. I can't really figure out who he would be.
I hope he's the bad guy.
Yeah, what if Rachel Weisz is eviler Black Widow, I guess?
At one point, there is and it really does seem like the Marvel movies really like to draw from the Aughties era of Marvel comics. And there was an Aughties era Marvel comic where there was another Black Widow who took over for her and then turned rogue. And it actually wasn't one of those where it was sit up from the beginning that she was literally going to be the new Black Widow, and everybody kind of hated it, so they brought back the real one and stuff like that.
Do you think Bucky shows up in this movie?
I mean, I don't know.
As the Winter Soldier?
But that would be fucking dope.
I think he does.
I think there's no way he doesn't. If they don't, that's just a missed fucking opportunity.
The whole line in Civil War where she's like, don't you even remember me or something like that. You've teased it for too long.
That's
that have
super
a past.
fair.
He has to be in this movie. But
also, that dude is signed on for 1 million contracts, so he has to be in all the movies until he dies. And the final piece of news here was probably the Probably the most interesting trailer we saw this week is the Joker trailer with Joaquin Phoenix, directed by
Todd Phillips.
What do we think?
J-Hugh, you go first, man.
Okay, here's what I'm going to say about it. I was made... First of all, it's a really good-looking trailer. Like, it just looks great. A lot of what got me really excited about it is how people reacted to it. Because you could, like, go down through Twitter, and everybody got a different thing from it. Like, one of the first comments I read about it was... It's like Black Panther for incels.
Oh, man.
But then, like, just a few comments later, somebody's like, this seems less about a crazy person and more about just depression and isolation in the big city. And, it seems like the origin story to every Joaquin Phoenix movie more than, like, a Joker origin story. But it went from being something that I thought was the dumbest fucking idea on earth to I'm kind of want to see it now.
So I walked away thinking about the one bad day line a lot, and then also how it kind of reminds me, and this sounds really stupid coming out of my mouth, what The Dark Knight is to Batman, which is a realistic, gritty take or whatever on Batman. That's what I think they want this movie to be.
Oh, definitely. I think
and
so.
I realize we've already had a Joker in that universe. But I like the idea of Joker being made not from a guy who falls in a vat of chemicals, but from society. So, like, society makes this guy.
Right.
And I think that's a really cool approach to it. Obviously, something's a little off.
I was about to say
from the beginning that it is. I feel like there may even be able to have like a nature versus nurture discussion, and so that's when I think the Taxi Driver comparison is very lazy analysis, but I do think it's fair in that regard.
Right.
That that is kind of De Niro's character in Taxi Driver.
Right.
He was a little off the rocker anyway, and then this thing happened, and he goes way off the rocker.
Right.
But the fact that it's like gritty 80s dirty New York movie, and this is supposed to be a gritty 80s dirty Gotham movie with Scorsese influence, that's what I mean by lazy analysis. But I dug the trailer.
I mean, I'm pretty on board with it. I feel like for all of us, and especially Ian, so I'm sad he's not here, one of the biggest things about this is there's just so many question marks. We didn't know, like, what this movie was. We didn't know, like, how comic booky it was. It was very strange to have Joaquin Phoenix, who's traditionally done, very serious or like oddball roles. We just didn't know what this was gonna be, and I still don't entirely know. It definitely feels a lot more like you said, realistic, kind of gritty. They're going for, which I don't know. It doesn't. It seems that way in a non. I feel like it's not like a Zack Snyder like celebrating the darkness aspect.
Yeah.
But just like, oh, this is this guy's shitty life on a day-to-day basis.
Well, it seems like the kind of stuff that Zack Snyder in his head thought he was making, like,
Yes, I think that's a good description.
But yeah, it looks really interesting to me, and like I said, I was super opposed to this. I fucking hate Gotham. I think the only thing from Gotham I'd be interested in is if they would do a season that's set in the future when Bruce Wayne is fully Batman and he's just fighting senior citizens.
I was about to say that, yeah.
So I was not into the idea of there being like a 40-year-old Joker while Bruce Wayne was still a kid again when we just did that on a fucking TV show. But man, this looks like an interesting movie. I don't know if it'll be good.
Nope.
But I do think it'll be worth a watch.
You guys think the kid he does the smile to, you think that's Bruce?
I think yes.
I thought it was Bruce. He's behind like some sort of fence.
Yeah.
That's the gate to Wayne Manor.
I will say, before this trailer came out, when I knew it was coming out, I accidentally watched a fake trailer for it that was mismatched with, like, I guess, I don't know what the other footage was, but mismatched some footage with footage from The Master. If you guys have ever seen The Master.
Yeah.
And I, for like literally a minute and a half, was like, is this the real movie? This looks a lot like The Master, but it totally fits.
Right,
like it's pretty much the same character.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm on board. I'm on board to definitely see it and give it a shot.
I heard someone's opinion on it, because to me the biggest question mark of this movie has always been Todd Phillips.
Sure.
And I don't know that this is going to be true. This is one person's. Christian Harloff from Collider said that he thought it could be what Big Short was for Adam McKay, in that like Adam McKay had only made like jokey movies and like not even like dramedies, like straight comedy movies, and then makes this more serious, heavy film in The Big Short, and it almost kind of relaunches his career. I don't know that this is going to be that for Todd Phillips, but maybe it will be. Maybe this is a start for something different.
One of the reasons I do kind of think that the Taxi Driver ripoff thing is fair is, didn't Todd Phillips do that movie that was just the Wolf of Wall Street with missiles?
Yeah. Are you talking about...
I can't remember the name of it, but it had that guy
Miles
with the face
Teller and
Seth Rogen's buddy.
War Dogs.
War Dogs. Yeah.
So, I mean, it does seem like this guy has a Scorsese hard-on, so... but man, I'll watch a Scorsese Joker movie.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of Scorsese, I've never actually seen The King of Comedy. Do you feel like it's also an apt comparison
I
to...
really want Robert De Niro to just be the same guy. Like, that would be so awesome.
Well, definitely the look. A lot of parts really reminded me of King of Comedy, too. Yeah, it's totally a node to Scorsese.
It's 100%. Yeah. Fair enough. But I think that's all the news we have for this week. Join us a little later this week where we're going to review the new DC movie Shazam, the other Captain Marvel movie.
Shazam!
But in the meantime, thank you guys for listening. If you want to reach us, you can fill out our contact form on realphonies.com. You can also follow us on social media at realphonies on Facebook and Twitter, and at real_phonies on Instagram. Thanks to Zach Evans for art and Brian Velasquez for our theme. We'll see you guys later this week.
Deuces.